Alright guys, it has been a long time since we talked about Star Rail, but this is a moment in which it's impossible to avoid talking about it, because everything is gonna change. One, because there's a new patch, that's obvious, right? A lot of new characters, new worlds, etc. But the point I want to make here is more about a specific character, which is the Herta, and a problem, in quotes, that I have been noticing about Eidolon 2. Let's talk about it. I understand why there is so much drama about Powercreep when we talk about it. Base damage for Herta E2 on single target is not low, but it's not high, exactly I would expect. But if you look at E1, it's still normal. E2 though is changing everything, and it brings her damage with a free-to-play Lycon to more than 1.2 mil. The easiest way to understand how much is that is comparing it with Feixiao. Here Feixiao is just using Cruising in the Stellar Sea S5. Feixiao E0 deals 900,000 damage, a little bit more, almost 1 mil, which is less than her type. But if you look at the 3 copies, Feixiao is 1,600,000 damage, right? And is it enough? If you compare with it, it's not that different, right? But still, Feixiao still edges out Herta. Yeah, for sure. What if I scroll down, though, and I go to Herta 3 targets? We are talking about 3 million damage, because it scales with the number of targets in a linear way. I find it completely crazy. 3 million damage on 3 targets, 1.2 million on a single target. It's basically almost 3 times the amount. Feixiao doesn't scale with the number of targets, and this will be the damage regardless. If you scroll down again, you can see that Herta E2 on a 5 target scenario deals 5,600,000 damage with a free-to-play Lycon, and 6,400,000 damage with signature one. Here the problem is not really the Lycon, it's the E2. The E2 changes everything. It makes the character completely broken. And honestly, if we look at Feixiao E2, 170% damage, right? It's a 70% more the base damage. It should be comparable, right? But then again, if I go back to the single target scenario, we're talking about a damage that loses out on what, 400,000 damage? I don't think it's that important. This character power creeps Feixiao, and Feixiao E2 is already a problem. Feixiao E2 is broken, and Feixiao is a meta character that deals an incredible amount of damage, right? I understand the complaint about power creep. We can see a problem. I don't know enough about Acheron, but when I was playing at the time and Acheron was out, I didn't pull because I wasn't interested in the character from a design perspective. But if you look at E2, allows you to have a more flexible team, if I recall correctly, but the damage is still normal, right? It's 29% more in a 3 target scenario, 23% more in a 1 target scenario. If I'm wrong about it, please tell me. If you are an Acheron enjoyer and you have Acheron E2, please tell me if it's more important for other reasons. But what I can see here, based on only numbers, is an increase that is 24 up to 30%. And we are talking about an 80% difference, the amount of Feixiao E2, but now this scales with the number of targets too, with a free-to-play Lycon, which is very good, by the way. This Lycon is very good. I don't think you really need the signature one. I think you can use the Himeko one for a multi-target scenario as well, and it's very good. I don't have the calculations. Now that's covered, I want to go on in another place, which is my Figma, and talk about what to do in this version. So we are in a moment in which we have a Fugue and Firefly as banners. Both are very strong characters. Fugue is an enabler for the break teams, so if you main break teams, I think Fugue is an incredible character. I would 100% pull for it. I am not building break teams. I have one character that is from the break archetype, and that is Rappa, but I just like the animations, and I realize I can't really deep into another archetype. I think Star Rail is more and more about choices when it comes to account build instead of collecting old characters. The Eidolon of the characters are much more precious compared to other games, where you have some more damage but not this much. So I want to talk about Eidolons in the future, but for now, what am I going to do to deal with the Herta outbreak, let's say? With the Herta power creep problem, I will skip both Firefly that I don't have, even if I like the character, and Fugue, even if I think is a very strong support for an archetype I'm not working on. Wait for the Herta banner, and here we have a lot of choices. If you have follow-up attack supports, I understand that Feixiao is a very good option. If you have Aventuring, if you have Robin, Feixiao is a very good option for you. I wouldn't say Feixiao E0 is bad, so you can definitely consider getting one. Lingsha is also a very good healer for the many things. She has a summon and also she can help break teams a lot. She has been many people are reconsidering on Lingsha. I don't need her, so we'll skip. But if you are into the break teams specifically, that's another option. And then we have Jade, that is very good for pure fiction. But honestly, if you are just playing the game and you're not into the follow-up or break archetypes, I think the Herta is a very easy choice. She also gives 80% crit damage to the entire party, if I recall correctly, so she has support capabilities, which is crazy. So yeah, I will be picking Herta and skipping those two. I don't have too many pure fiction characters that can help me doing AoE damage, but if you think about it, mini Herta 4-star still very playable, and I think having E2 Herta will completely change my game, and not only in a single player scenario. E2 Herta, that will represent like this, is a character or three characters that is basically a team by itself and can be used in any scenario. Pure Fiction is completely busted. You basically destroy Pure Fiction with Herta, together with a team that you can build free to play, completely free to play. But you can play Herta in Memory of Chaos. In a 3-target scenario, she's completely busted still. I think the only scenario in which the Herta 3 copies struggles could be on Apocalyptic Shadow, because sometimes it's single target. In that case, maybe it's not the best character in the world, but you can see she's still playable. We are talking about 1.2 damage, which is better than, I don't know, Celes DPS or any other single target DPS. Keep in mind that losing the 50-50 is very common, so it's a huge investment. Do it with a grain of salt. I'm just saying this investment in Star Rail is not crazy, and it would be crazy in any other game, because I could have been picking different set. I could have been doing Herta and, I don't know, Feixiao and even Jade, or if I didn't want Feixiao because I already have it, I could have done Herta and the Fugue and build another team here and have this for Pure Fiction. So I'm supporting a new team, building for Pure Fiction, or I could even do Herta and Firefly and Fugue and have a break team, right? But the point is, Herta power creeps Firefly even with her support so much that 3 Herta is probably still better for the future of my account, which means Honkai Star Rail is a vertical game. It's a game that tries to convince you that going vertical is as good as going horizontal and having many characters. I will be giving up a lot of characters, which is sad because I like the characters in this game. There's to say though that the gameplay differences are not as big as in an action game. Yeah, you can play the characters, the teams feel different, but I think having teams that are very strong can be as satisfying as having many teams in this game specifically, because you don't interact with the teams as much as an action game, like for instance Genshin for exploration, or as Zone Zero for the actual feeling of combat. You like seeing big numbers in an RPG, right? Winning the RPG, creating the strong account that can deal with challenges is a game of its own. I think 3 Herta is better than filling the gaps, having Fugue and Firefly for me, that I'm a high spender. So yeah, if you have to choose, you still want 1 Herta, so it doesn't change the thing. I'm talking about people that have savings or want to invest on a character. Herta E2 is still a good investment, which is crazy. Okay, so then we have the future patches. Let's talk about them. So 3.1, I think it is. We have Aglea on the main banner and Boothill, Robin, and Silverwolf rerun. So let's talk about this. Aglea, I don't know much about the kit because not released yet, but she will be a remembrance character, which means she will synergize with Sunday that I have. She will be a new archetype by itself. She will probably be strong, but I don't see the urgency of her getting a character when they have the Herta carrying for pure fiction. Then of course, if you like the design, I think Aglea has a very unique design. You should pull for her. If you go for design choices, I understand. It's not a priority for me. Boothill is a very strong break character, but the break meta is gonna be behind. I love the character, I love single target, but I already have a broken single target character, and if you have Feixiao, for instance, maybe Boothill is an overlap, even if it's from another archetype, especially if you don't have Feud, another character that can help you with break. We all have the protagonist, the imaginary type, the main character that can help, but it's not necessarily enough. So if you don't have Ruan Mei, for instance, that's a hard investment to do. Robin is instead a very generic strong support. Is an option. I already have Robin, so I'll be skipping. But if you don't have a generic support, you can consider that. Keep in mind that Remembrance main character that I forgot to add is also coming to the game, and it can help as much as Robin in some scenarios if you don't invest in Robin. You have alternatives, but you need many teams, so I think Robin is still a very good investment. Silverwolf, on the other hand, makes me laugh because yes, she can implant weakness, which is something we don't need anymore because characters basically ignore weakness. They have ways to work around it. Then we get to 3B. We know that 3B will be a support, and that's it. I expect 3B to be strong. Supports are usually strong, plus she's very cute. So she's an option for me. I'll probably pick 3B at this point because I like supports. Even if we have many supports, I think 3B will help with the accounts and all the characters that are going to come, potentially the spotlight ones. Then we go ahead and we have the Spartan warrior there. And I think I will be skipping that. He will probably be very strong. There's the potential that he's gonna work well with other characters in the future. Same with 3B, right? Because they are in the new archetype. So yeah, I will consider him. I will be getting them on single copy if I do. I think to have the characters and build a new team. I think single copy no Lightcon is an option for me. I don't really want to invest in them that much. So if you do, maybe you want to consider not investing too much in a completely new support. Even if this game's power creep is crazy. Now, let's pick those characters that we have been talking about, the new ones, of course. So Aglea, we don't know anything, and if we do, it's leaked, so we don't talk about it here. And therefore, we are going to talk about the Herta, mainly. So where is the Herta gonna be? It will be placing the other characters in the big table and talk about the new meta soon. But that's for sure. The Herta is in the era of effect, the AoE archetype, the pure fiction archetype. This is basically pure fiction, okay? I'll write it down. And yeah, she is the best character here, very much needed in a way. If you want to rock in this mode, the Herta is an option. It works very well with Herta. Herta is now better, mini Herta. You can use the Himeko Lightcon if you play her in pure fiction, so you don't need the Lightcon. You can even play Herta E2 in pure fiction with the Himeko Lightcon, or with the free-to-play Lightcon we were seeing on the Pride one too. And yeah, she works with the same supports you're used to. Robin is very good. We have a main character Remembrance here too. Main character Remembrance is gonna be present in basically all teams. Also keep in mind that the Herta is very good even as a pure hyper carry because of the incredible amount of damage she deals. So with the Eidolon, she's still probably one of the best pure hyper carry characters in the game at the moment. Which is crazy, right? She's not skill point based, she's just pure hyper carry, an archetype that has been ignored for a long time. So that's definitely an option you can consider if you want a 3-target Herta. She's still very strong, probably the strongest of those pure hyper carry characters. even at E0, still competitive, not broken character. And the other thing I like about the Herta, and I want to see, is if the Herta can be used as a sub DPS because of the crit damage buff. So maybe the 80 crit damage buff, which is a passive ability, can be considered as a sub DPS option for pure hyper carry, right? Also keep in mind that the Herta wants another erudition character with her. She really benefits from having other erudition characters. So she pairs very well with, for example, which is fun, but she pairs very well with Himeko, with Herta. You can build a new team that is about erudition characters. If you love Jingyuan, I think the couple is very strong meta-wise. It doesn't make much sense on the design point of view, I think. The other thing I have been thinking about is Herta Yunli, because Yunli is multi-target and attacks a lot of times, and I want to see if there's synergy. Yunli is such a generic character that is basically everywhere in my teams. And yeah, that's the thing I wanted to talk about. So when it comes to the new banners, there will be a lot of characters and reruns, but honestly, I think the highlight here is the Herta, and the other ones will explode in the future. I don't expect those characters to change your account. This is Nero Atlas with the future of Honkai Star Rail, and the Herta being power creeping everything. Have a nice day. This is Nero Atlas logging in.